Depends.
Okay. All right. Oops, sorry. And then in terms of needing help to find the content for your course, do you see a situation where you would come in and start searching for material?
What do you mean? What do you mean by search here for material or?
Yeah. If you were searching our system for material, would you consider using the search functionality? Would you like to see filtering of material?
Yeah, No, I like having the search function. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So one thing that I would like to see would be if you're going to keep the instructor resources tab is fine. Under that instructor resources tab, what I would like to see are past cases that you guys have had in the book before, but don't put in anymore. Because there are good cases that get taken out that I like. The questions that are provided are terrible. No one should ever use those questions. But the case itself is good, right? It lays out 2 to 3 pages of good information. And then I can come up with questions that I'll ask my class based on that case. So give me more options. Give me more options to use in the class. But I guess some people get overwhelmed by it. I may get overwhelmed by it also, but at least give it to me. Give me the option of using an eBay case from 2001, even though obviously times have changed a lot for eBay or something, something like that, let's say.
Okay. When you're looking for content, if you're looking for a particular type of resource, a case or whatever it may be, do you tend to select it based on a topic, learning objectives, a group of learning objectives, a chapter? I do it on the topic. So I typically when I did the blended class, a case needed to be able to cover 2 chapters for me. And so the issue is, how do you get a case that is going to cover, let's say, retailing and the global environment, right? So, all right, that's fine. We'll do Walmart, and we'll do a case on Walmart that is, the case will be all about Walmart, let's say. So then I can put them in Walmart in China. I can ask them questions about China because they've already listened to the lecture. We did something before the case talking about Walmart's expansion into China and its struggles. So for me, it's picked on the topic. And then once I get a topic, once the case makes sense topically, I can develop questions that meet the learning objectives that I want them to know. Because those questions that are at the back of the case are more like discussion type questions. And those things are all over the internet. All right, a student can just Google those questions and get the answers. They can Google my questions, but they're not going to find a good answer online for them because I change them all the time. Okay. What type of student learning resources would you want to see from the publishers?
More abilities for them to take like take quizzes, take practice test type questions, especially before the first test. The first time they take a test, that's why I started doing quizzes, is because they take a test for the first time and they haven't taken a marketing test, they haven't taken a test from me before. And so it's a new experience for them. So I've started giving them quizzes as a way to help them prepare for the test. Not in that they need to, the material is helpful for them to know, but just to be taking a test on a computer, they can take it wherever they want for the quiz. But just to see the questions, what it's going to look like, just trying to get them in that environment, I think helps them a lot.
Okay. Do you tend to cover all of the material within a chapter?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
I cover, I would say, 75% of a chapter. And it's not to say, but the other part is not to say that it's not important. It's just not as relevant to them now, and I don't think it will be as relevant to them in the future. Or it's something that's so micro, it's just so chopped up in such small doses that I don't want them to focus. They spend all their effort understanding this one little area, and it's such a small area of marketing that I feel like it's a waste of time.
Okay. So if So if I understand the workflow, if you're not covering something in a particular chapter, then it's not going to be in your recorded lecture, for example.
Yeah, probably not. You know what? It will be in there, but it'll be one slide, and I'll give them the highlights for what that material is about, and I'll say, I'll give them a really, really macro, big picture about what that topic is, and then tell them to go to the book if they want more information about it. Well, they need to go to the book anyway, but just to, I'll give them a little bit, but not much time because, again, I don't want them to focus on that here. They can read it in the book, and the book does a good job. I think all books do a pretty good job of laying out the material for them. We just do it in different ways, and so it helps to fill in the blanks when they read the book, I tell them.
Okay. So it's either paying attention to you in your lecture when it's face-to-face as to what is more important, and then also being able to listen to the recorded lecture that may touch upon this course.
Correct. Yeah, and I tell them that 90 to 95% of the test questions come directly from what I've said either in class or on the recorded lecture. All right, I will throw maybe 5 questions, maybe 1 question per chapter, let's say, from the textbook, that if you opened the textbook and skimmed the chapter, you will get this question right. Just to make sure, still incentivize them, make sure they're reading the book and not just listening to me.
Okay. All right. What I want to do is move into the next part, which really talks about, or I ask you about assignments. And what you're seeing, again, no more than to just... I like
the drawing.
Incredibly accurate it is. It's a portrait. So in terms of before class, tell me about the work you have students do before class, if any.
So depends if it's a face-to-face class or a blended class. A face-to-face class, I would like them to read the book, right? I would like them to have printed off the PowerPoint slides or at least have downloaded the PowerPoint slides, looked at them. Probably gave them a case in both classes. I gave them a case to read before class, so they have to do that. If they don't do that, that infuriates me because that takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes to read this case. If it's blended, they have to watch the lecture before class because the blended class meets on Thursdays when I have it. And so essentially Tuesday is your day to watch it could be Tuesday, but could be any day. It could be midnight on a Sunday. I don't care. But essentially Tuesday, right, that was when you're supposed to watch the lecture over the 2 chapters. And then in class, we're going to do this case based on the other thing you were assigned to read. So that's kind of before class.
Okay. The goal of the work before is familiarity with the content and particularly the case.
Correct.
Okay. How successful is it working out to be so far?
It's working out pretty well.
Okay.
It's pretty well. The blended class went better than I thought. It went pretty well. They were watching the lectures, and if they weren't watching them, they were at least reading the book, I think, because they came to class relatively prepared. Every once in a while, I'd see a student trying to read the case real fast. And so it's like, come on, dude. I mean, you're hurting your group. Everybody else is ready to go, and you're here trying to understand the intricacies of IKEA, right? I mean, come on. So.
Okay. Can you tell me about the cases?
So I use the cases are predominantly, I use the cases out of the back of the book. Actually, I'm going to go grab a book real fast. So. Give me a second. All right, so yeah, it is Armstrong Collins's book. So the back of the book, I think there's like 1 case. There's 16 cases, I think. So 1 case per chapter, and so that's a bad one. So like there's a target case, right? The target case is like 2 pages single spaced.